The Houston Rockets are willing to trade the third overall pick for the right price. The question is, Spurs fans, who are you willing to trade? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. The NBA draft is right around the corner. There's been a lot of talk. The Rockets are willing to trade the third overall pick for the right price. Obviously, the Spurs would have to give up their ninth overall pick, another pick, probably a complimentary player, but also one of our young guns. And to me right now, our young guns are DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, and Devin Vassell. If you had to trade one player, Spurs fan, which one would it be? Drop a comment down below who that is. Hit that thumbs up if you like support, fellow Spurs fan, and subscribe for more Spurs content. Just as of note, as you can see, I've got DeJounte, Keldon, and Devin stats up top. That is post All-Star break, as that was after the Derek White trade. Granted, it's a limited sample size, but I think the offense was really clicking at that point. All those players are getting more opportunities after the trade. So let's just get into it first. DeJounte Murray, not getting traded. It's not happening, Spurs fans. And for those of the Rockets who are like, yeah, we'll take DeJounte Murray. It's not happening. The Spurs didn't invest all this time into DeJounte Murray to watch him become an all-star and one of the best point guards in the NBA just to go, all right, you made it, kid, and good luck in Houston. Not going to happen. He had a fantastic year last year, and post All-Star break, he was phenomenal, averaging 25 points per game. His shooting metrics are up. Along go with 8.2 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 2 steals, and who knows if he's hit his ceiling. If he can get a little more consistent with his three-point shot, he could average 25 points a game for the year. Not to mention the fact Spurs fans, our only other legit point guard is Trey Jones. Are you ready to insert him in the starting lineup? He played very well off the bench. This team is already undersized. Now we're going to put an even smaller point guard in. And while DeJounte is not a great three-point shooter, we're now putting in a point guard in who can't hit the three at all. Well, he hits it once in a while, but he's not a good three-point shooter. So the Spurs, my opinion, definitely need DeJounte Murray. No chance that he is getting traded. Which brings us to the other two players who have been mentioned, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. This is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. I really struggle with this one. Let's start off with Keldon Johnson. Last year, he showed us he was one of the most consistent scorers on our team after the All-Star break and really showed us he could be a guy that goes out and gets 20 points per game per night. I think he had 8 games in a row after the All-Star break where he hit just that, and he did average almost 21 points per game. And for the season, he was one of our best three-point shooters, and he also improved in his passing throughout the season. In those last 20 games after the All-Star break, he averaged about 3 assists per game where he was averaging under 2 assists before it. That being said, Keldon is my favorite player on the Spurs, so I'm a little biased. I'm going to try to be biased in this video. He does take a lot of contested shots, especially in the fourth quarter and in the paint. We'll see him drive into the paint, put his head down, his shoulders down, and he'll take a contested shot between 1 defender, 2 defenders, sometimes 3 defenders. There are a lot of times last season where I saw Keldon Euro step in the paint, and he went right into a wall of defenders, threw the shot up, and bricked. He also needs to find a better way to create for himself, which kind of falls into that contested shot thing. He's got to, whether it's a pick and roll, whatever it may be, just get better opportunities and better looks at the basket. And there's also his defense as well. I don't think he's a bad defender. I don't think he's a great defender. I think he's average. And a lot of it has to do with his effort. And in his defense, he was outsized a lot last season, asked to go play power forward, and even occasionally asked to play center. But still, he hasn't shown us that he can someday be an elite defender yet. When we move on to Devin Vassell, he showed us last season that he has a reliable pull-up jumper. He can finish strong at the rim, which I didn't know he had that part of his game. He played good to great defense. However, he had some iffy ball handling. If he's going to be that non-3D guy, he needs to also do a better job of creating his own shot. And I felt he was a little more inconsistent last season than the average Spur. We were inconsistent a lot, but I just felt like he was sometimes inconsistent a lot in the same game where he was just exploding in the first half and then absolutely disappeared in the second half, which unfortunately happened to a few of our Spurs. It just felt a little more up and downsy with Devin. And when we look at both players post-All-Star break, Keldon had the better post-All-Star break, 21 points per game to 14 shooting metrics. Keldon was better overall from the field. Devin was better from beyond the arc. Keldon a little better rebounder, a little more assists. Devin, better D, had more steals. So, in short, looking at last season, offensively, I thought KJ gave us a little more. Defensively, I thought Devin gave us a little more. So, kind of became a wash when you look at that point in the season, in my humble opinion. If we take a look at their second year, it's kind of eerie. Their stats are very similar. They played in a similar amount of games, close to the same amount of minutes. Keldon Johnson was a better shooter from the field overall. Devin was a better shooter from beyond the arc and three-point land. Is all this are beyond the arc and from the free throw line sound familiar? Devin was a better rebounder. Assists were about the same. Devin the better defender, and the points per game were Very close, 12.8 to 12.3, which raises the question, because they were so similar in their second year, who has the higher ceiling? I have no idea, Spurs fans. They're so similar, and not only statistically speaking in their second year, but also in size. And because they're very similar, with the draft being just 8 days away, could the Spurs pull the, choo-choo, and could one of these guys be expendable? You can make the case that Keldon Johnson's expendable. It's in his third year. People haven't seen the leap that maybe they thought they wanted to see, and his contract's coming up. So let's ship him now before we got to pay him the big bucks and hold on to Devin Vassell. Then again, the Spurs seem to love Keldon Johnson. Pop brought him onto the Olympic team. He started right away in year number 2. Does that mean Devin Vassell's expendable? Personally, I hope neither gets traded. I'm very traditional and old school in the fact that I like my players to be drafted, watch their entire career, and then see them succeed with my team and then retire. If you look at my favorite teams on this channel, it's the San Antonio Spurs and New York Giants. All right, haters, shut up with the comments down below. Giants suck, I know. San Antonio Spurs. Look at some of the all-time greats of the Spurs. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili. All played their entire careers for the San Antonio Spurs. There's one other great that's not on that list that should have played his entire career for the San Antonio Spurs, but unfortunately did not. When I take a look at the New York Giants. Lawrence Taylor, Eli Manning, Michael Strahan played their entire career for the New York Giants. Another team I follow that I don't cover on this channel because I don't like talking baseball, but the New York Yankees. Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, just for recent. And of course, you can go back way before that. Mickey Mantle, those type of players played their entire career for the New York Yankees, and that's what I'd like to see. Honestly, I'd like to see DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, and Devin Vassell play their entire career for the San Antonio Spurs. Watch them grow from being rookies to players where we're going. Are these the guys to turning into eventual All-Stars? We've already seen that with DeJounte Murray. We saw so many dollars with DeJounte Murray, not last season, but the season before, with DeMar DeRozan leaving San Antonio. That gave him so many opportunities to shine, and he took advantage of it last season. And I don't think his hit is ceiling yet. I think he's probably close to it. Again, if he works on his three-point shot, then maybe he could be a 25 points per game per night guy and still get those 8 rebounds, 8, 9 assists. As far as these two, if I had to trade one, and I've already mentioned Keldon Johnson as my favorite player for the San Antonio Spurs, but if I'm taking that bias away, if I'm trading one, these guys are similar. They're very similar. We have a lot of wing type players that are this height that do similar things. If I have to trade one, the only reason I'm going to trade him is for a financial reason, and I would trade Keldon Johnson. And it hurts me to say that, and I hope I don't see that happen. But if I'm getting two players that are similar, yeah, granted, Devin Vassell more in defense, Keldon a little more in offense, but overall, it looks like they're going to be very similar-ish. I'm just going to look at the financial side of things. All right, Keldon Johnson's got a contract coming up. He's going to want to get paid, rightfully so. So let's avoid that now and trade him to the Houston Rockets, whereas Devin Vassell has 2 more years on his rookie contract. We also tend to not like to trade lottery picks away, hold on to them, whereas Keldon was a 29th overall pick, part of the DeMar DeRozan trade, and if you can package him and get a third-round pick out of it, trading your 9th and him plus, I'm assuming one of the other first-rounders or a second-round pick to the Rockets, then it would suck to see him go. And I hope this doesn't happen. But I'm just brainstorming. I think it's fun to talk about scenarios. So occasionally, I don't like to do too much rumor mill. And this isn't a rumor mill video. This is just if we were to trade a guy, I wanted to get feedback from you, Spurs fans. Which one would it be? Would you actually, DeJounte Murray, would you say, you know what? Well, let's roll Trey Jones and trade DeJounte Murray and our 9th pick for the 3rd overall pick. But I think that would give us a gaping hole at point guard. So you fix one problem, more than likely a power forward if we get Paulo at number 3. And then DeJounte's gone. Didn't he want to play with DeJounte, or isn't there a tie there, Seattle tie? Write me in the comments down below. So just one of those videos I want to talk to you guys and chat and see who, really curious in the comments, who gets mentioned the most. DeJounte Murray, which I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be the least because we can't afford to give him up. So who's going to get the more votes to get traded? And remember, this is just for fun. If you're putting the player's name down, that does not mean you want them to go. That just means if we're able to get the 3rd-round pick and we had to give up one of these players, I guess, would you? And if you would, which one? Personally, I'd rather not trade either. Man, getting the 3rd overall pick sounds pretty good. So to close, I'm rambling, but I like talking Spurs with you guys. My heart I would trade Devin because I'm a Kelman fan. In my mind, I would trade Kelman just strictly because of the contract situation, and Devin's a lottery pick, so you want to get have him play out his whole rookie contract and see what he has. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to be very interested, Spurs fans. Drafts next week. As it stands right now, we still have all four draft picks. I can't believe we still have four. We are not, I can't see us drafting four players. It's going to be exciting. I'll be live for the entire draft and not only follow the Spurs four picks, but y'all know I'm following Kai Soto as well, so I want to be around when he gets drafted. That's right, I said it, when he gets drafted. Anyway, I'm rambling, going long. That's all I got. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, go Spurs, go!